friends, students, and faculty members. I am Professor Mrudula Kulkarni, Head of School of Civil Engineering at MIT World Peace University. I welcome you all for this webinar titled Link Between the Sustainable Development Goals and World Peace. I thank our Vice Chancellor, Dr. N.T. Rao, and Executive President, Professor Rahul Karad, sir, for giving us the opportunity to organize this event. As you know that United Nations has designated 5th June as World Environment Day to highlight that protection and health of environment is very major issue which affects the well-being of people and economic development throughout the world. The celebration of this day provides us with an opportunity to broaden the basis for an enlightened opinion and responsible conduct by individuals, enterprise, communities in preserving and enhancing the environment. Almost over last past year, environmental crisis has revealed itself in a spectacular and disturbing manner. Let it be a wildfire in the rainforest, effects of climatic change, or the recent one COVID-19 pandemic. So on this occasion of World Environment Day, I invite you all to join the celebration to follow, implement sustainable development goals at every walk of our life. We have with us today the speakers who are great personalities, Dr. Rajendra Shende and our own beloved Dr. Vishwanath Karad, sir. Uh, to start with this webinar, I hand it over to Mr. Pravin Patil, the Chief Executive Officer of Center of Industry Academia Partnership of MIT World Peace University. Over to Mr. Patil, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kulkarni. Friends, our topic for the webinar today is link between sustainable development and world peace. On the occasion, and we're doing it on the occasion of the World Environment Day, friends. World Environment Day was launched in 1972 and has been celebrated by the world every year since 5th June 1974, and is also UN's most important day for encouraging worldwide awareness and action for the protection of our environment. Since it began in 1974, it has grown to become a global platform for public outreach that is widely celebrated in over 100 countries. Each World Environment Day is organized around a theme that focuses its attention on a particularly pressing environmental concerns. In the last 3 years, the theme for World Environment Day has been chosen by various countries. Canada chose the theme of connecting people to nature.
फोटो कसा दिसत नाही त्याचा फोटो कसा दिसत नाही
Pravin, please put on your video, Pravin.
Yes, I'm there. So in the last 3 years, the themes for World Environment Days have been chosen by different countries. Canada chose the theme of, say, for instance, connecting people to nature for 2017. India chose the theme of beating plastic pollution in 2018. China chose the theme of air pollution in 2019. This year, the theme of World Environment Day is Celebrate Biodiversity and is hosted by Colombia in partnership with Germany. Friends, the coronavirus pandemic is an urgent call for all of us to appreciate the ways that we are dependent on Mother Nature and to combat species loss and environmental degradation. The COVID-19 pandemic gives us an opportunity to revisit our relationship with Mother Nature and rebuild a more environmentally responsible world. Now, it's time we understand the web of life in which we live and appreciate its function as a whole system. In 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development provides a collective plan for achieving peace and prosperity for everyone on the planet. It is built around 17 sustainable development goals addressing global challenges relating to poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. These goals are interconnected and interdependent. Progress on one enhances the progress towards the other, and biodiversity is critical to all of them. With over 1 million species facing extinction, there has never been a more important time to focus on biodiversity. We should care about biodiversity as ecosystems are relying on all parts of, from the smallest bacteria to the largest vertebrate. It's all interconnected. Some produce oxygen, some are producing oxygen that others are breathing. Every living organism has a role to play in the maintenance of balance. Some provide food for the larger species, which in turn becomes a prey to even a larger species. 2020 is a critical year for nations' commitment to preserving and restoring biodiversity. As we take an oath to protect our nature on this World Environment Day, it gives me immense satisfaction to share about a few of our initiatives we've taken at MIT World Peace University in contributing to improving the World Environment Day's objectives in whatever small way that we could. Some of our initiatives include installation of the air quality monitoring station in the university campus. This system enables us to measure air quality, and MIT World Peace University has developed a mobile application that transforms the server data into transmittable through mobile application that reaches out to all the faculty and students at regular intervals. Energy conservation through solar energy generation. In 2018-19, friends, alone, we conserved 48% of MIT World Peace University's power consumption was generated through solar power. Sustainable management of solid waste. As a part of this initiative, MIT World Peace University has installed and commissioned biogas plant which manages food waste with a capacity of 500 kgs per day. With this initiative, we could save around 9 kgs per day, which is about 30% improvement in efficiency compared to the last year. We led the green education campaign that inspired all the students, teachers, parents, and community to plant almost 1,400 trees in MIT World Peace University. MIT World Peace University is continuously promoting and supporting initiatives which have scope for energy consumption through sustainable and smart campus. With the World Environment Day theme of Time for Nature, reversing biodiversity loss is the only way to restore and sustain a healthy planet and lives that support. It's time for all of us to reimagine our relationship with nature and put nature at the heart of our decision making. Let me close my opening remarks for this webinar by playing a small video. Friends, we all must accept and understand that Earth is our home, and let's treat it with respect. Technical team, can you please play the video before we Nilesh, can we have the webinar video, please? Thanks a lot for playing this video. I now invite Dr. Milind Pande to share his thoughts before we will get Mr. Yogendra Kuntz to make a small presentation on MIT's SDG initiative, please. Dr. Milind Pande.
Thank you. Namaskar. Very good evening to all of you. Very categorically said by Dr. Klaus Toffer. He said sustainable development is the peace policy of the future. And that speaks a lot on this World Environment Day. My friends, let me tell you, every year on this 5th of June, the World Environment Day, we are celebrating in a different way. Let me give you some thoughts. The World Environment Day, we are celebrating every year on 5th of June for encouraging the awareness and action for the protection of our environment. But my friends, let me remind you, the 5th June is also the foundation day of Dr. Vishwanath Karad, MIT World Peace University. And this is very, very important. MITWPU celebrated its foundation day every year in a unique way. By last year, for example, in 2019, we installed air quality monitoring station in our premises to measure air quality, that is PM 2.5 and PM 10, along with the mobile app displaying the air quality index. And this was the unique initiative taken along with the SCCN under the guidance of Honorable Dr. Rajendra Shende. My friends, let me tell you, MITWPU is the first university in the world which has a unique peace studies program incorporated in its curriculum and making continuous progress in its efforts towards UN Sustainable Development Goals. Let me tell you, the MITWPU continued to make unique positive contributions to the world by celebrating its foundation day, by creating awareness about the air pollution, about the smart campus, and to initiate the actionable awareness among the students and all the members of MITWPU. My friends, the 5th June event is strategic and has short and long-term impact. This year also, during this horrible situation of COVID-19, we are celebrating this day via action, not only talking or teaching. MITWPU always takes a lead by not just limiting its efforts in creating awareness through just workshops about the UN Sustainable Development Goals, but also by investing in setting up systems like the air quality monitoring station, which is another milestone, my friend, and it is a continuation of Smart Campus Cloud Network, the initiative which launched in 2017 called Transforming the MITWPU Campus into a Smart One. And there are certain unique programs which we are doing. For example, MITWPU believes that any problems that are created in the world are due to ignorance. These problems can be avoided if the requisite knowledge is provided to the students, which is being done as a part of peace studies curriculum. My friends, MITWPU believes that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is the world is one family, is ingrained in the very culture of India, and it can be experienced by the various initiatives that the university undertakes. The environmental issues which are facing today has already been addressed in our ancient Indian scriptures like Vedas, Upanishad, and many more. Recently in Naneshwari, as you are aware, the wrote by philosopher Saint Naneshwara. But let me tell you, in the recent book on 3rd of June, authored by Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, 9 universal secrets of the principles of human life, revealed by philosopher Saint Naneshwara, this happened first time in the known human history. My friends, let me tell you the brief milestones which we have done in association with SCCN, that is Smart Campus Cloud Network. 5th June 2017, as I said, the foundation of Dr. Vishwanath Karad, MIT World Peace University. On the same day, Honorable Minister Prakash Javadekar launched the cloud dashboard of Smart Campus Cloud Network that links the activities in campus to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The launch prioritized the online and real-time measurement of electricity consumption and the generation to Internet of Things, that is net metering, the solar plus state electricity board. It has been the MITWPU and its related campuses joined hands with SCCN to transform MITWPU campus into the smart campus with monitoring and improving the part from electricity, water conservation, air pollution, waste management, mobility, noise pollution, and many more. On 7th April 2018, the 17th World Health Day, we launched at MITWPU campus Climate Change and Health Center with the aim of addressing three priorities: heat wave, air pollution, and vector diseases. On 5th of June 2018, the first ever sustainability report by the any universities was launched by MIT World Peace University, Pune, India. My friends, the various initiatives, let me conclude in a minute the various highlights by MIT WPU which you have taken towards the smart campuses. The MIT WPU Android application for ambient air quality index, mobile for sustainable transport, energy conservation, that is replacement of campus street lights by LEDs, centralized water distribution, then green building aspects, plastic free campus, and most important, smoke free campus, recycling, reuse of solid waste generated, and so all these integration of smart campuses lead to the smart villages that lead to the smart cities, and smart cities can lead to the smart India, that is the smart nation. Friends, possibly, which we always used to hear from our founder president, the philosopher Saint Naneshwara was the first environmentalist who expressed 720 years back at the age of 16, and he said, Nagarechi Ratavi, Mahavane Lavavi Nanavita, which means create a water bodies first, then plant variety of trees, and then plant township or village. Let me conclude what I said in the beginning. The sustainable development is the peace policy of the future. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Mrudula, please.
Thank you, sir. As a part of School of Civil Engineering, we have a team of environmental engineering experts with us. One of the experts in environmental engineering, Dr. Yogendra Kuntz, he is also working on various projects, environmental projects, which Dr. Milind Pande just mentioned. He will give you a brief report about the activities that are being conducted with the help of School of Civil Engineering as a part of MIT World Peace University. Over to Dr. Yogendra Kuntz, sir, please. Technical team, please give him the rights to share his screen.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of these esteemed audiences and to join these esteemed panelists. I am grateful to the MIT WPU management, Dr. Vishwanath Karad, as well as other guests on this panel. I'm humbled to give this presentation in front of Dr. Rajendra Shende, and I would very much appreciate his advice on nurturing MIT WPU environmental sustainability initiatives further into the academic year 2020-21. So the title of my presentation is Environmental Sustainability and Global Peace Ethos at MIT WPU. The next slide on my presentation is Right. So the next slide on my presentation is the number of goals that we are going to target under under the Faculty of Engineering and Technology. These are specific United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which include goal number 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, and 13, 12, 13, and 17. Goal number 4 is quality education. 6, clean water and sanitation. 7, affordable and clean energy. 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure. 11, sustainable cities and communities. 12, responsible consumption and production. 13, climate action. And 17, partnerships for fostering and continuing these goals. MITWPU remains committed to its ethos of global peace and sustainability. Within FOAT, we are going to specifically target these goals. So, okay. Needless to mention, Dr. Pandey and Mr. Pravin Patil have outlined many of the initiatives on campus which are happening. The biogas plant, the rainwater reuse and harvesting, which are outlined in this slide. We also use solar panels. There is an air quality index app, which is available for the Android platform. The air quality monitoring station, which was recently installed. In addition to that, I'd like to add a small point of the rural immersion program, which exposes our undergraduate and graduate students to the problems of rural India or the rural heartland. And we also have a solid waste management system which takes care of manure formation from gardening waste and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'd like to talk briefly about the air quality monitoring station. I'd like to give the credit for this slide to MIT WPU Peace Team and the Faculty of Engineering team. It was established and inaugurated on the World Environment Day in 2019. It is under the umbrella of SUFFER, under the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, and we specifically installed this to address goal numbers 11 and 13, sustainable cities and communities. As of today, I'm happy to inform our audience that we routinely monitor carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, suspended particulate matters of size 10 micron, 2.5 micron, and 1 micron in air. We also have sensors which are equipped to handle equipped to report ambient temperature, relative humidity, barometric pressure, and ultraviolet index. The air quality index data which is generated is displayed in the form of an air quality index in the web or the mobile-based platforms. So let me brief you a little bit about what are the upcoming targets which we aim to achieve in the near future. There is a proposed Center for Advanced Research and Technology, CART, and I'd like to credit this to Dr. Prasad Khandekar, Dean of Engineering. This center was envisioned with a bottom-up approach involving engineering faculty to incubate and boost research driven by social needs or societal needs. We're going to deliver publishable, applicable research which deals with providing society with the solution to problems it faces right now. And this was envisioned to tackle goal number 7, affordable and clean energy, and goal number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Current project areas, which are broadly listed out here, e-mobility and supportive technologies, and reducing the environmental footprint of emerging disruptive technologies. This center will also aim to enhance the awareness about MIT WPU commitment towards sustainability. Under goal number 7, we are briefly looking at the source apportionment of air pollutants because we have access to the air quality monitoring data, as well as microbial pathogenicity of viruses of air. This is especially important in the light of the current pandemic. And under goal number 19, we're going to look at safe battery recycling, resource recycling, and polymer reuse and packaging. The next initiative I'd like to point out, so let me, okay, there we go, is Center for Excellence in Environmental Testing and Treatability. I'd like to give the credit of this slide to Dr. Mrudula Kulkarni and Dr. Ramesh Dod, who have been really championing this agenda. We are upgrading the current environmental engineering laboratory. Phase 1 upgrade includes, we have already procured an atomic absorption spectrophotometer and a double beam spectrophotometer. It is available for a wide range of water testing and wastewater testing. And this was meant to tackle goal number 6 and goal number 12, clean water and sanitation, as well as responsible consumption and production. Needless to say, the one-year target for this goals, for our goal is NABEL accreditation of the Environmental Engineering Lab and partnership with central and state level regulatory bodies. The current laboratory is also equipped to handle water treatment, wastewater treatment analysis, as well as biosafety level 1 and 2 waterborne pathogens. We also do a little bit of air quality monitoring, including SOX, SOX, and NOx, and we are currently dealing with projects for developing light commercial vehicle emission inventories. These facilities, I'd like to invite other schools who wish to do research. We are open and we would like to share these facilities with you. Moving on. Okay, so let me just quickly move on. So the last slide in my presentation is that I'd like to end by saying that humans have caused immeasurable damage to this earth. Our commitment to these United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are a small penance to pay. MITWPU remains and shall remain committed to impart quality education, that is goal number 4, and work with its industry and academic partners towards a more sustainable future. Finally, this presentation was put together by the whole School of Civil Engineering and the Environmental Engineering team. I'd sincerely like to thank Dr. Vishwanath Karad, the MITWPU management, for giving me this platform to speak, as well as supporting these initiatives. I'd like to thank the environmental team, which I have closely worked with, Dr. Nivedita Gupte, Dr. Ramesh Dod, and Professor Ashish Kai. I'd like to thank Dr. Mrudula Kulkarni and Dr. Prasad Kandekar for this constant support and encouragement to ensure that MITWPU FOAT becomes more in line with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. With this, I will come to the end of my presentation. Very much appreciated to speak on this platform. I will hand over the control back to Mr. Pravin Patil. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yogendra Kuntz. That was a wonderful presentation. I would request the esteemed guest for the day today, Dr. Rajendra Shende, who is the chairman of Policy Center India, to please throw some light on today's topic. Over to you, Dr. Rajendra Shende, sir. Dr. Shende?
Sir, I think sir is on mute.
Oh.
Shende sir, you are on mute, sir. Please unmute yourself.
Are you able to listen
perfect.
to me now?
Yes, please.
Perfect.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Okay. Is my voice clear to all of you?
Absolutely clear.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. There is some broken moments. Did you hear the broken moments, or is only my case? In earlier presentations, there were some
I think we could hear everything. We could hear everything very clearly.
Okay. So bear with me. It must be my network. So I just do the advance warning that there may be some moments of silence where probably you can warn me by some methods.
Sure.
But namaste to all of you. And it's really considered as a great opportunity to share the virtual platform with Dr. Vishwanath Karad, his team, and such an enthusiastic staff, as well as Number of students, participants, audience, those are probably watching it. I always shared the platform in reality, in the physical presence with Dr. Vishwanath Karad. And this is probably the first time I'm doing that with virtual technology. So we are so far away. Otherwise, we were so close to each other when we discuss certain topics. Exactly 3 years back, I was sitting with Dr. Vishwanath Karad on the same day, 5th June. He's on my one side, and then I was sitting on the other side of Prakash Javadekar, Union Minister, our Honorable Minister, in order to inaugurate what is called as a dashboard of Smart Campus Cloud Network. That was 3 years back. And that was a time when I realized that there is a strong connection between sustainability and spirituality based on whatever the earlier discussions I had with Dr. Karad, Dr. Vishwanath Karad. But in his speech that time, also he pointed the focus towards this particular aspect. I realized that sustainability, spirituality, and peace, in fact, really go together. And that is the foundation of our any education or any educational institutes. That day, we inaugurated the platform of Smart Campus Cloud Network, but we also inaugurated what is called as a first public event of WPU. That exactly was a day when Dr. Vishwanath Karad received the approval letter for being the Peace University, the first Peace University in India. That was a great moment because we were trying to connect the technologies, the sustainable practices, and the spirituality and the peace together. It was a really great moment for me because in my 20 years in United Nations, I never experienced that kind of an event. Because we always talked about certain technical issues, some collaborative issues, connecting issues, and United Nations is known for much of a talk, as all of us know. But here we saw in World Peace University a lot of actions taking place, which Dr. Milind Pande expressed. What are the things that are going on in your campus now? So today is really third anniversary of the WPU. It is also third anniversary of SCCN, Smart Campus Cloud Network, because we inaugurated the dashboard, the first dashboard in the campus of MIT WPU. And it is also the fourth anniversary of launch of Sustainable Development Goals in United Nations. It's a fourth year because we started implementing SDGs on 1st January 2016. And today we are on 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. The year of the anniversary will get completed on 2nd October. The man who dedicated his life for the peace. And today we have a 46th anniversary of World Environment Day, launched by United Nations Environment Program, where I worked for 2 decades. And the theme is biodiversity. And we are coming together to stage for today's topic of SDG and the peace. And this moment, I feel that it is captured by Dr. Milind Pande, who I consider that he never misses a particular event. He saw that so many things are coming together on 5th June. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are sufficiently audible. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. So I was talking about Dr. Milind Pande, who never misses the opportunity, which are unique opportunities to come together to display what we have done for the last 3 years. And I call him sort of an Elon Musk of MIT because he's always launching something and doesn't miss the launch the way Elon Musk missed the launch of his Dragon in Florida. And he wanted to make sure that this particular launch takes place. So he was after me. I was a bit reluctant for the simple reason, because I consider the webinars is another dangerous virus. And the trouble is, nobody is interested in finding a vaccine for that. Because it looks like in a lockdown, we would like to express our thoughts. All the time, we are launching ourselves into the free space and consider that somebody should listen to me in order to make sure that I exercise my right of free expression. And that's why I thought that there is a lot of talk. So what exactly we are going to do? And Dr. Milind Pande told me that yes, there is a lot of talk. Let's now walk. And I thought that when Dr. Vishwanath Karad is there, we just don't walk, we also rock. So I feel that today we are going in the next 15 minutes. I think that is a time limit which I have put myself, that we are going to walk the talk and then rock ourselves. And let me come to you later on what I mean by rocking in the university. I don't think I will spend my time in telling you what SDGs are, because I think earlier presentations, talks, I already talked about SDGs, how they started. I want to tell you what SDGs are not. SDGs are not the goals for the environment. They are the integrated goals for the environment, social, and the economic progress. That's the first thing I would like to put forward. Second thing, SDGs are not for only those who are literate or who have learned advanced technologies. SDGs are for all individuals, 7.4 billion people, because the title of Agenda 30 is leaving no one behind. The key word is no one. So SDGs is not about 26 rich people in the world who own the 50% of the wealth. It's not about those who founded the institutions like Dr. Vishwanath Karad. It's not only for Rajendra Shende who keeps on talking. It's for everyone. And it is definitely not for the governments. As Prime Minister Modi says, the government doesn't make the progress. It's the people who make the progress. So SDGs is for the people. Third, SDGs are not about, it's not of United Nations. United Nations only convene the countries together and ask countries to formulate the SDGs. So these are not United Nations SDGs. If somebody calls it United Nations SDGs, they are on the wrong path. They are the SDGs of the countries, of the people who have done a deliberations and brought it forward. It's quite likely that some of the people were missed in deliberations, but we are not going to miss them in meeting the SDGs, in meeting the Sustainable Development Goals. So this is another important factor. Now the question comes, we know what the SDGs are, but we really don't know how to meet them, how to reach there, what is the destination. And as number of management gurus have told us, everybody knows what to do, but nobody knows the direction. What direction we are going, where we have to go, and SDGs do exactly that. They tell us a direction, where we have to go and how to approach it. We have to go to those 17 SDGs. And those are not the sentences and statements. 17 SDGs are split into 169 targets and 234 indices by which we can measure each of them to see whether we are really making a progress or not. So they are quantifiable, they are bold, they are structured, and they are transformative. And never in the human history, the countries have come together and agreed to it. Today, one country doesn't agree with another country. Even to have a resolution about COVID-19 in Security Council. And COVID-19 is a crisis of global proportion. United Nations is there to address the global problems. But look, the countries don't even agree to the language of Security Council resolution. We don't have a single Security Council resolution today which talks about the action. We have a resolution, one resolution of Security Council, and that says we must take action. It doesn't say how we are going to take action, what to do, what are our targets, and what the country, how countries can collaborate. The research doesn't say anything about it. So when countries have such problems bilaterally, in 2015 September, all 195 countries in the world agreed to 17 goals. Isn't it surprising? Some of them at that time, because you always find in a media and in an intellectual and elite world, there are some criticism about SDGs. Instead of sustainable development goals, they talk about silly development goals. Some of them from the UK papers who like a lot of scandalous headlines, which we all know from the prince and the queens and the princess. They even published the headline which says stupid development goals. But we all know that now they are slowly percolating into the society. And now here exactly is the role of universities that is coming up, that how to connect all of them in an integrated way, and not only in the classrooms, but coming out of the classrooms, because the global peace is not inside the classroom. Global peace is outside. And let me give you a simple example, just to see how they are connected, the issues are related to SDGs to the peace. And those examples are quite telling. This was in 2010, when a street vendor in Tunisia, Mohammed, if I'm not forgetting his family name correctly, it is Abu Zizi. So Mohammed Abu Zizi was a street vendor who was selling the fruits in a city called Sidi Abuzi. The police came and confiscated his cart where the fruits were loaded. What he did, he knew and he didn't want to make some corrupt practices by telling police about it and telling police that, okay, we will make a deal and then you return my fruit cart. He didn't want to do that. He just took a petrol, put on himself and put it into flame. And crowd saw it. It was in a bazaar. And crowd saw it, and that was the start of the Arab Spring. From that time onwards, all the Arab countries, one by one, there were revolts. And those revolts even came to the rich countries like Saudi Arabia. It came to Bahrain. It came to UAE. It came to Dubai. They didn't remain only in Yemen, or they didn't remain only in Syria or Libya or Lebanon. They spread all over. What was the reason? The reason was that was a time when there was a food shortage and the food prices had gone up. Why there was a food shortage? Because there was a drought. Why there was a drought? Because of the climate change. And why there was a climate change? Because of human actions. And that's why the SDG number 13 came up there. But there are many examples. Today's Syria crisis, Yemen crisis, and Darfur crisis, and the Sudan crisis, they are all connected with the problems related to the social, environmental, and economic issues, which are captured well in SDGs. So if you at all meet those SDGs, demonstrate through the university laboratories. University campus is a laboratory, that it is doable, then we will be able to demonstrate to the society around us that this is how we can live in a peace. There are umpteen number of papers which have been written how SDGs are related to global peace. And I gave you only a couple of examples of that. How university should proceed? One thing is, university should probably capture it very well. And I feel MITWPU is already on the way. So I consider MITWPU at the higher takeoff point as compared to other universities. So it will be easy for you to soar in the sky, to take off at a much higher level, as we call it, higher heights. But if you just remain there complacent, I think the others are going to take over you in all aspects. So the first thing to realize is that SDG implementation can benefit universities. That's the first thing. And the universities can benefit from SDGs. Let me explain how SDGs help universities. If you start education on universities and the actual practical example, which will be given by on a air quality index or the energy conservation or access to the renewable energy, then you are increasing the demand for the SDGs. Today you have a sustainable development department. Maybe tomorrow you will be starting a sustainable development institute. Maybe SDG university, because that will, you are creating a demand in a society to know more about it, because SDGs is about societies. They are not about the government. So you are creating a demand for them. You are also creating what is called as a demonstrable entities. Today, no farmer in India, and there are 60% of the people in India are farmers. About 80% of them are small farmers. Others are big farmers. None of them will believe you unless you demonstrate it. I'm from the village, seen by Dr. Vishwanath Karad. And I have seen Dr. Vishwanath Karad's village. All over the people, full of traditional knowledge, they know only one thing. They don't know the blackboard. They know the black soil. And they don't know the white chart or the white chalk. They know only what is called as the seeds to be sown in that black soil and the fertilizers to be given, and they look up at the sky to see that some rainfall will come and the seeds will grow. So we have to look at demonstrations of this. You already have demonstrations of clean energy, but that is not all. I keep on talking to Dr. Vishwanath Karad, and he keeps on saying that in that particular location of WPU, we should be having a massive demonstration of conservation of water. And that I realized when I visited IIT Gandhinagar. Dr. S.K. Jain, and he has fulfilled the dream of Dr. Vishwanath Karad. He has created a whole campus. The underground, there is a water. I went there along with him. And this is not something new. This is what exactly our forefathers did. This is what our kings did. They conserved the water. We also have to have what is called as a waste management. And I don't know how many times we talked about various ideas about waste management. solid, air, weight. And we know that waste is wealth. That is what the university should demonstrate. I also feel apart from the demonstration, the universities are the producers of innovation. I don't think innovation gets created in my mind. I don't think innovation gets created in the government's mind. I think the innovation is produced in the university campus, and we should exactly try to nurture that innovation, capture it, and not just advertise about that innovation, but commercialize it to make sure that that innovation spreads in the marketplace, and that innovation is about the sustainability. There is a third thing. We always talk about collaborating with the industry. The industry today is doing business as usual. We can change that. We can change that with our centers. We have that Atal Tinkering Labs and Atal Innovation Centers. MIT ADT has it. So we can do such kind of social innovations to make sure that we develop a new way of partnership. So our partnership is not only partnering with Tata Motors to how to reduce the air pollution, but telling Tata Motors how not to use the fossil fuel in your car and how the electrical vehicle can become more efficient and how your batteries can become long lasting till the next charger comes in picture. So I feel that universities are going to benefit, and unless you show that benefit, you will not be able to create a demand. And the universities also can contribute to SDGs, not only by designing the courses, those are important, you should hold it, but also you should come out of the classrooms and create some kind of an experiments in a laboratory. Dr. Vishwanath Karad has produced an exhaust pipe and tried to say that how the pollution from the fossil fuel related cars and vehicles can reduce. We should try to investigate that. We talked about air quality index management. I don't know how many of you listening to me have really downloaded that Suffer app and clicked on Pune, and within Pune, you clicked on Kothurud Pune. And in Kothurud Pune, you get MITWPU, Air Quality Index. And let me tell you what you didn't tell me or didn't tell the audience is that that particular algorithm, that particular digital protocol is written by MIT students in close cooperation with the Ministry of Earth Sciences sitting in my office. We didn't go to Infosys, we didn't go to Wipro, we went to, that's what I call it, that universities are knowledge producers, they are innovation producers, they have capability and we have to identify that. So what I'm trying to say is that universities also can contribute to SDGs. The way you did it for air quality index and algorithms, you can demonstrate that SDGs are possible. You can monitor it, you can assess it. And I would like to end my talk with a dream. And I want to share that dream with all the enthusiastic faculty members and all those who are listening students, and particularly Dr. Vishwanath Karad. My dream is exactly what the Marathi saint Tukaram said. And all of you, probably Dr. Vishwanath Karad knows this much better. He said, much in a simple language than in Sanskrit, when we talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, he explained it by saying that the trees and the creepers and the wild animals are our family. In his language, he said, Vrikshavalli Amasoyare Vanachare. And that kind of spiritualism, that kind of an conceptualization of how to care for the things will come only from the knowledge producers. Of course, this was what Sant Tukaram said was the knowledge in the past. We can create what is called as put this language into much simpler way to demonstrate to the people. And before coming to my dream, I just want to say that Pravin Patil would know SDGs, Milind Pande would know SDGs. You just go to the Rui Rameshwar of Dr. Vishwanath Karad and make a survey how many of farmers know SDGs. And you will find that many of them don't know. So the first thing we should do is to raise the awareness of it. And my dream is to make sure that Dr. Vishwanath Karad's room, it's a spiritually charged room where he sits, should have a big screen showing what % of total energy is coming from the nature, from the sun, and how well the biogas plant is working. And at the same time, he should say that how much food waste every day is really put back into the system. And then every day he should send a message the way Prime Minister Modi sends through his application to the students, saying that students, congratulations, today we crossed our average. And also tell us, be cautious that your food wastage yesterday was much more than average. Don't do that. Thank you. I'm ready for any questions and answers.
Thank you very much, sir. Karad sir, are you saying something, sir?
Sir, invite sir, please now.
Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah. So friends, we had that was Dr. Rajendra Shende, who is the chairman of Perry Policy Center. He's an IIT Mumbai alumni and is regarded as an authority in SDG and environmental issues. Thanks, Dr. Shende. We heard from you that we need to look beyond what needs to be done and to see how important it is to work on how it needs to be made or got into practice. Thank you very much, sir. I would request Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, sir, to please come and share your thoughts before we start taking questions from the people.
Thank you so much, Rajendra Shende ji. I am really grateful to you for the wonderful words of wisdom, the way in which you really gave us a glimpse of where we stand and where we should go and what is our real issue in the future. And particularly, I'm grateful to you when you said sustainability, spirituality, and world peace. I'll add one more word to it: sustainability, science, spirituality, and world peace. Friends, it has been very uniquely presented by a great scientist, a person who is really a great partner in the Nobel Peace Prize too, working for 20 long years at the United Nations for the ozone layer depletion. I still remember he was one of the leading persons, one of the leading scientists who gave a new vision, new concept and idea and resolved the issue of that ozone depletion problem, which otherwise could have caused a little bit of great havoc to the world environment. And when we are discussing something on the world environment today, he reminded me of our letter of the World Peace University, which was received 3 years back, when Honorable Minister Javadekar ji and Shende sir himself was present. I have been very lucky that possibly in the year 1987-88, I'm talking after the MIT was established in the year 1983, I was quite crazy about the various pilgrim centers in the name of Sant Gnaneshwara, Sant Tukaram, and many others. And some or the other, I was involved in this very unique project of the environment, improvement and pollution control. Because I still remember that time our Prime Minister of India was Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. After the passing away of Indira Gandhi, he had taken over, but I don't know how and what way, but he had taken the very unique project of the improvement of the Ganga river. And almost I still remember about 300 crores of rupees were sanctioned that time. And simultaneously in Pune, I was very curious to take up a very unique project. I had no question of money itself, but there was a passion, a fire in the belly. The way in which Mr. Shende sir spoke just now. Every word what he spoke just now about the sustainable development and the environment or the atmosphere that we are talking about, and the world is worried about. I was very passionately involved, and then we went to the extent of taking up a unique project thereafter of building up the various ghats, issue of drinking water, the problem for the holy water to be given to the pilgrims was the main issue. I still remember that time I had said that will you provide the beautiful clean water on the 32nd floor of Taj Hotel. You have everything possible. And we are more worried about those high class people making a provision of the pure drinking water, not for the pilgrims, even a spoonful of it. I still remember it was Vasant Patil and Mr. Shankarao Chavan and Durna Maharaj was the person who was the guest. I said, you don't have the duty to provide a spoonful of holy water as a holy tirtha, as they call it, your usual language. And from there, the journey started. I still remember that I don't know why I took it up, but that was the reason when I established the Sri Kshetra Alandi Dehu Parisar Vikas Committee. The environmental improvement and pollution control are the main issue, which raised to the finally to the level of transforming the pilgrim centers of India into knowledge centers of India. But knowledge is the one step, but beyond knowledge, there is the wisdom part. And that wisdom was the main issue, which is possibly taught from the Vedic text. The Bhagavad Gita, I'm not talking of any particular religion, but I'm grateful that Shende sir has very uniquely said about the spiritual component of life. Friends, you know it that what we are talking about, the sustainable development, it is not only the atmosphere, the air pollution. Mainly the issue is the water pollution, and I will go a step ahead, the mind pollution. The worry today is we are polluted in the mind itself. And the present situation, what you are experiencing today, friends, Shende sir has very uniquely said that this pandemic issue, the COVID-19 issue, which has made the whole world, this is also a very horrifying pollution. The virus COVID-19 or the coronavirus which we are talking about, can you imagine, friends? For the first time in the human history, known human history, for the first time, 160 nations of the whole world are locked down for the last 2 months. And not only locked down, but thereafter the temples, the churches, the pilgrim centers, the gurudwaras, the temples at various places, and even the Makkah Masjid is closed. This horrifying situation is because of the whatever I will say, should I say the pollution or the pollution of the coronavirus itself. And we are so worried. There's a tremendous fear complex, tremendous, horrifying situation. To my mind, at least, I see that this is the worst of the worst pollution what we are experiencing. Worst of the worst pollution, and I'm thankful to Mr. Shende sir that it's high time for us, let me tell you honestly, that India has a role to play. Because we have been having so many problems. I would like to tell you exactly our rivers have been converted into gutters. There is nothing like Ganga or Yamuna or Brahmaputra or Krishna or Kaveri or Godavari or Chandrabhaga. Can you see that the people around all of us, everything, the worst of the worst drainage systems of all the industries are being allowed to let down into the rivers, every river. and our rivers have become nothing but the big gutters, big drainage systems. Who is responsible? Let me tell you, in my own place at Lodi Kalpur, the whole village uses this river as a dumping ground for the waste, the solid waste. The issues in Bombay or Pune or Delhi, I think I am going to tell you, friends, we have a greatest worry about what will be the way in which we can have a disposal of the solid waste. And we will have to think very seriously. The problem is going to increase, and this is going to be one of the major aspects of polluting the atmosphere itself. You know it, friend, that when we think about the pollution itself, being an engineer, being a person who can understand about this industry, the polluting industry, the chemical and other industries is one aspect. All the industries all around and letting their waste go to the rivers directly. You see the whole of India. The biggest problem I see personally is how to control this, how to regulate this. If you stand at the road, now because of lockdown, the whole vehicles are completely locked. But if you stand any point, minimum 120 vehicles cross that one line. And the pollution caused by the exhaust itself is so horrifying. It becomes a smoke tunnel. And those who are traveling through AC car is something okay. But for the rest of the people, it's nothing but a smoke chamber or a smoke tunnel. Now the issue to my mind is about when we talk about the pollution control and the atmosphere itself or the पर्यावरण की बात है, तो मुझे लगता है कि we will have to think tens of times, and possibly the discussion which went on today in the morning is about the electrical vehicles. Possibly we'll have to change something. This is one very important aspect, the water pollution and the air pollution, two aspects which is going to cause a horrifying problem in the future. Our population increase is one of the major issues. I think Mr. Pravin Patil gave the list of various activities which we are taking. I'm grateful to Rajendra Shende Saab that through your TERE policy and through your passion for doing something good for the smart campus, smart cloud campus of MIT and many other institutions, you brought Mr. Prakash Javadekar ji, and we started this activity. This is one of the major aspects which we'll have to work on. Every university campus, every college or every city or every village, we will have to plan something and take some positive actions. Is one aspect which I felt like telling you before you. I do not have anything else, but the other day I read a news. You must have also read the news. In African countries somewhere, exact location I don't know. Well, do you know that there is a big news that the gravitational constant G is getting reduced, and there is a problem of electromagnetic waves and radiations, and possibly the various airplanes and other systems which are going to get affected. Can you imagine how much depletion and how much the excavation of the minerals and everything, whether this mineral or that mineral, I don't know, but world over there's a very excessive, very greedy misuse of the natural property, the nature. Exploitation of nature is the major issue for we are facing. And if you do not control this, I don't know what is going to happen, who is the controlling authority. But this one issue is going to cause a problem. And you know it very well that what is the consumption of petrol or diesel or the coal and other mining materials. And the world over, there is so much of horrifying excavation going on at our places, and we are neglecting the major issue of controlling the wonderful Mother Nature itself. And unless you said something about the Mother Nature itself, let me tell you, I have a feeling that unless you pass some stringent rules and regulations and implement them, this is not going to happen at all. Just making laws and rules and regulations is not going to be sufficient. In one of my cases, in one discussion, I still remember that the rule of law of any nation must run to close to the rule of life of the people, because the life of the people is closer to the life of Mother Nature, and the rule of life of Mother Nature is nothing but the rule of the cosmic creator, the Brahman, the nature itself. So we will have to have some correlationship between the Mother Nature and the life itself, the human beings or the other living beings. I have been having a very minute observation when I see the wonderful fragrance and the colors and the various scents and the types of flowers what I see in the nature. I feel that there is something like what you call spirituality. The spirituality and science is an inevitable part of the human life itself. All living beings. Let me tell you, the body, that is matter, the mind, the brain, intellect, and the soul. These four dimensions are to be certainly linked up together, and that makes what you said about the very sustainable development for the human race. It's the greatest fear, let me tell you honestly. Let us not neglect this. And I would like to make some declaration and I'd like to appeal to our Honorable Prime Minister of India, who has a great vision, Mr. Narendra Modi Sahab, to give a clarion call to the whole world. On this World Environmental Day, when we are celebrating, what is the duty of you and me? What the duty of each and every student and each and every citizen of India and the world? That, but now there has to be someone who has to have a show the courage, conviction, determination, take the initiative and take the lead also to give a clarion call, not only to the Security Council of the United Nations, but to the World Health Organization too, to come together, have a historic meeting, and then in the historic meeting they should decide clarifying COVID-19 pollution. I'm calling it as a pollution. The coronavirus has polluted the whole atmosphere, and that's why how many lakhs of people have died, I don't know. But the Americans, the Italians, the Spain, the Germany, the Spanish, every nation, including India, including China itself, where from this virus has come. And possibly, the whole world is saying it's a man-made virus. It is not by nature, like a plague or the cholera. Actually, it has been a man-made virus, and this is nothing but some sort of pollution itself, polluting the atmosphere. And this atmosphere, you know it, we have been locking down ourselves for 2.5 months. Now, who is to take the lead? To my mind, it is only India, India, and India, and whose Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi Sahab, who has that understanding, who has that vision to give a clarion call to all the Security Council members, the powerful ones, those who are very powerful nations who have been engaged in the rat race or the mad race of developing the weapons, and especially the chemical weapons and the biological weapons being produced under the pretext of research. I think this coronavirus has come. It's very clear. All the great Nobel laureates of the whole world have realized and they know it very well. And we are not finding a vaccine or we are not finding a solution for it. Now, what is the solution? Solution is, at least let us hope that if the Security Council or the WHO come together and decide and give a call to various nations, powerful nations, not to reproduce again some such horrifying virus, either it is COVID or something else, I don't know. But some such mistake has not to be repeated, because otherwise the whole human race may have to pay a very heavy price. I don't know. Today, every day I read the figures that how many people have been suffering through coronavirus or COVID-19, and how many lakhs of people have died. And there is no solution. Everybody is helpless. All these powerful so-called nations and we all people scientifically so advanced. We have reached a certain stage. We are talking on this web series. Time and space has now changed completely, the concept. But certainly we are still helpless, and possibly on this World Environment Day, we have to commit, we have to take a pledge and try to do and perform our duty for the well-being of the humankind or the mankind and save this humanity from this rat race or the bad race of the biological weapons too, is one aspect. But let me tell you honestly, say, friends, that for our India, our mother India especially, when we are talking about this is such a big nation. Honorable Modi Sahab is always talking about 130 crores of people, and he is heading it. But he is also the human race, and he has a duty. And possibly, if he gives some such clarion call, I have a hope and expectation that possibly on this World Environmental Day, at least we have done some small work and duty with all that passion and fire in the belly, whatever little we can contribute for the belly of mankind. This will be one of the major important uh, problem which we have been facing. And possibly on this day, I feel that when I see my own college, on my university at Rajbagh itself, the World Peace University, the ADT University, and wherein Mr. Rajendra Shende Saab has been our guide and advisor. And he has been giving a very wonderful message to Tere policy also. And he has been also quite close to Mr. Prakash Javadekar, who has been trying to lead many of the things. But I have a feeling that instead of discussing, deliberating, and talking about all those same things which everybody knows, to make the whole progress, the progress and the power game is one aspect. But let me tell you honestly again, the words of wisdom which were spoken by Sant Gyaneshwara 20 years back, I repeat to my students that remember, friends, that Mr. Milind Pande gave you a very wonderful word. He said, Nagarechi Rasavi, Jalashaya Nirmavi, Mahavani Lavavi. What a wonderful sentence spoken 720 years back about this very environment itself. And he says, he's talking about it like a town planning, a pollution control. And he's giving a wonderful advice. So it doesn't become old. These words of wisdom, the Vedic text, whose evolution we don't know. But those words of wisdom, they never go old or they never change with time. The time and space has been already crossed beyond. Let me tell you, friends, that these words, what Mr. Shende sir ultimately finally gave us, glimpse of Sant Tukaram, Jagat Guru Sant Tukaram. You will not believe it, friends. Let us read, let us understand how these great saints and sages and philosophers of the world, and especially India, they have spoken of Vrakshavalli Amasu, Vanachari. A very wonderful sentence, wonderful abhanga, talking about the Paryavaran itself, the pollution, the nature, the mother nature. And the rule of law, what I said is everything is closer to the mother nature. And if we are just detached from the mother nature, I think our life ceases to occur. It's a rule. The moment, this our own life just now, what I'm experiencing, because my breathing is going on. It is one with the nature. But can you imagine to be one with the nature, and if you are finished, if you are dead, then also you become one with the nature, the ideal, the perfection. So what is the ultimate law? It's a rule of the universe. And let me tell you, friends, Sant Gyaneshwara has it, Ata Vishwatmake Deve is the word. He is speaking about the universal or the Vishwadharmi, closer to the mother rule of nature itself. So these words of wisdom which have been spoken, unfortunately, we have always talked as a religious. Religion is personal. Let me again repeat, I have repeated this so many times. I would like to tell you, friends, the spiritual component is one aspect of life itself. It cannot be totally different for everybody. Spirituality is common, is universal. And every nation, as I said to you, that it has certain geography, history, culture, tradition different, but the time-tested values, human values are common. And those human values are the qualities of life and the universal laws. They are common for all the society, the entire world, and the humanity as a whole. And from that angle, we have to take some pledge and try to do our duty, our dharma. Dhara iti dharma. If it sustains the entire universe or the society as a whole, that will become our duty on this world day. That's my personal feeling. Really, Sende sir, I'm really grateful. I think under your advice and guidance, under this your career policy mechanism, and your passion for doing something good for the country. I still remember, I know that for 20 long years you were trying to struggle for this ozone layer depletion. And the world was not ready to agree initially. But finally, when you proved and you have shown to the world that yes, this is what is essential. Now some new danger has not to be required to be faced by us, and the society will have some good time in the future, possibly the biological weapons, the chemical weapons, and other polluting agents, what I said to you just now, transforming our all the rivers from gutters to real Ganga. I always feel sometimes, I don't know whether it is possible, but for India, when I look at that networking of the rivers of India has been a problem which has been discussed many times. I don't know whether it is possible, but I feel that a day has to come. The real Mother India, which has to emerge from Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Kaveri, Krishna, Goda, Chandrabhaga. I see a dream that whatever it is, but we put all our strength and energy and resources to make them put together, create the channels, leave the water if you feel like, from the basin of Ganga, Yamuna to the plateau of the southern part of India. But do something and emerge a new India altogether, new Mother India, with pollution-free, environmentally very sound and beautiful, making the society sustain itself and give them the actually the advice from that angle. Sende sir, let us try to do our duty for this cause of this World Environment Day. I am grateful, my friends. I don't know, I'm not an expert in the Paryavaran or environmental pollution control, but I do understand what is sustainability. Because we are causing the problem ourselves, the world is causing the problem. Excessive greed and excavation and exploitation of the natural resources is the main problem. That's my personal feeling. Thank you, friends. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So friends, to all our 1,895 friends that we've reached out till now through various social platforms, 270 people are engaged, and we have over 100 people logged on to this webinar. Friends, that was Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, sir, talking to us, giving his views, talking on the World Environment Day, and talking about India to give a clarion call to all the nations of Security Council to make sure that we do not repeat such a pandemic again, and that's a collective responsibility of all the nations to kind of take it together and make sure that we don't repeat again. Thank you very much for your golden word, sir. I have a few questions coming up, and the first question goes to Dr. Rajendra Shende, sir. It says success stories, sir. Can you share success stories and effective practices of smart campus cloud network across the country?
Sure, I think that is a very specific question, and unless some of the university students and the faculty know about the success stories, you probably would not come to know. Let me take the nearest one, which is not something at a distance where you have to go to see whether it is true or not. Maybe I can give that also, but let's take a near one. One is in Loni Carbo in MIT ADT. We decided that we take a SDG number 13, climate action. Climate action is a goal number 13, has certain targets and certain indices. One of the targets says that the world should become a carbon neutral. Now, one university cannot make the world carbon neutral, but university can demonstrate that we have gone carbon neutral. So as I said, SDGs are not for the governments. SDGs are not for United Nations. SDGs for individuals. And maybe when individuals come to learn together, that becomes a university campus. And there is a pledge that we will reduce the fossil fuel consumption and its emission by 45% by 2040 and 100% by 2075. Why? Because that's what exactly IPCC said. The IPCC said that if you don't want a disaster coming from the climate change, this is the first step you have to achieve. If you want slightly more disasters, but not total disasters, then they have another condition. And they say that only rich can survive this disaster. There is another condition for that. So let's take a condition which is doable by all, and they are demonstrating it. Their clean energy consumption from solar energy, I was seeing it in the morning because comes on a dashboard. It is 58% with a new. Yesterday it was nothing much because 8% with a new. It was all cloudy. But today it is a sunny day. And
Dr. Shende, I think we lost you. Dr. Shende? Dr. Shende, I think we've lost you.
Yesterday it was nothing much because it was all 8% with the new. Yesterday it was nothing much because it was all cloudy. But today it is a sunny day. And I was seeing that it is almost coming to about 50 cloudy. But today it is a sunny day. It is a sunny day. And I was seeing that it is almost coming to about 58%.
I think we're not, we're losing Dr. Shende. Dr. Shende, we're not able to hear you. Until we get Dr. Shende back, sir, there's a question for you, Dr. Karad, sir. The Vishwas silencer that was invented.
I was seeing. Yes, but
Dr. Shende, sir, your voice is intermittent. Bandwidth issue is there.
hello? Yeah. Right. That must be the reason. But did you get the example of a success story
Dr.
from
Shende, we're
MIT?
losing you, Dr. Shende.
Yes.
Yes. We heard about MIT ADT. We heard about MIT ADT. Thank you so much for your input, sir.
Yes.
I would go to Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad, sir, for the next question. Sir, the Vishwas silencer that was invented by you at Allendeep almost 4 decades back. What was the idea behind doing that invention, and how did it help people at large? Sir, over to you.
My friends, let me tell you, being a teacher of engineering, and especially I was involved in teaching IC engineering. One of my students, Mr. Joshi from Aurangabad, he was trying to work on this issue, and silencers was his issue basically. But I had some concept, a new concept, which I felt like, there was a time when there were very few vehicles on the streets. But nowadays, when I said about 120 to 30 vehicles cross every minute, the very smoke which is exhausted from the exhaust of the pipe of the engine, that it becomes a big smoke tunnel or smoke channel. What I felt was whether I can minimize, the pollutants are like the carbon monoxide, the nitrous oxides, and the carbon particles heavy. So I had the passion of trying to seal those and try to arrest those particles and at least minimize some carbon monoxide by absorbing through a wire gauze. So I had my concept. I think it is still at the College of Engineering, Pune. I did work, but because when I just took over as a director and so many other things, I had just, really speaking, kept it aside. And the industry always is very keen not to have something new like this. Basically, let me tell you, it's a very wonderful idea that when you just get the exhaust, you just return it back 180 degrees, just opposite, through a wire gauze. And I have an observation, the very Automotive Research Association of India on the top of the hill behind MIT, we had a very long series of experiments. And we have found that there is a change certainly to extent of 30%. And basically that if it is replaced, possibly the smoke and the exhaust will be comparatively cleaner as compared to the normal one. That's my personal observation. We have tested it, we have done it. Only thing is whether this can be adopted in the actual industry by the people who are making the vehicles. I still remember about 1,000 students were taken from MIT to Alandi, putting that type of the silencer, what is called as a Vishwas silencer. It's a very wonderful concept of if you just stand. I can give the demonstration. If you just stand at the exhaust, if it is normal exhaust, it's so black thick smoke. At Nurse Stop itself, I still remember when the vehicles are stopped for a while, then the exhaust of the trucks and the buses, and especially the carrying those कचरा जो होता है भाई, those vehicles, they give such a horrifying black smoke that it sometimes hits you, it becomes a problem. But we have taken care of those aspects and done something which is comparatively certainly unique, that which I can as a teacher, as a student, I can say. But it has been a very unique addition as a Vishwas silencer. Now, we are hoping that if the electrical cars come, the pollution will come down. But this Vishwas silencer would be a very unique addition to minimize the pollution on the streets through vehicles. That's my personal feeling.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We're getting a lot of questions, but I think limitation of time and keeping the limitation in mind, I would like to invite Professor Joe Thomas, who is our Associate Dean, Faculty of Sustainability Studies, to quickly summarize today's session in not more than 2 minutes. Professor Joe Thomas, please. You are on mute, Professor Thomas. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad and Dr. Shende and Dr. Pravin Patil. Thank you. What you asked me to do is almost an impossible endeavor. How can I summarize two great speakers into 2 minutes? But at the same time, I just wanted to say three things I want to highlight. One is MIT World Peace University's engineering department, what they're doing for sustainability related matters in the context of biodiversity is the theme of the day. And also I'm quite proud to represent MIT World Peace University, the Faculty of Sustainability Studies. Under the Sustainability Studies, we unpacking SDGs into master's degree level. SDGs 4 is about high quality education, which we are trying to provide in the context of SDGs, which is unpacked into 5 master's program, and which is perfectly fit into the engineering faculties program. In nutshell, MIT World Peace University is contributing significantly towards sustainable development goal and how it's implementing. In that context, MIT is also part of the UN Global Compact. Very few universities are part of that. I'm proud to say that, I highlight that issue. But also I just wanted to highlight 3 issues which was highlighted by our Honorable Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad. Number 1, he suggested that time for a new Mother India. New Mother India leading the knowledge center of the world. India became a knowledge center. And he also specifically said we should look at the issue of water pollution. We should look at the issue of a solid waste management. These two, and he also mentioned about the possibility of his own personal research in the area of exhaust pipe, how to do that. So in nutshell, the sustainable development is about peace. And SDG 16 is about building peace. Even that MIT World Peace University is offering. Sustainable Development 16 is about building institutions of peace. We are looking at the possibility and the law faculty, how we could contribute towards building peace through negotiation. We have to build peace through mediation. There are different alternate institutional mechanisms to build into the peace. And also Dr. Vishwanath Karad mentioned about the clarion call should come from the Prime Minister of India, and he himself called for a clarion call to the UN Security Council about the issue of biological weapon and chemical weapon. At the same time, Dr. Rajendra Shende highlighted that UN Security Council is still struggling to come out with a unified statement of coronavirus. We know that the P5, the leading permanent members, they're not coming out with a permanent a declaration on peace. And interestingly, India is going to be a member of the Security Council from this year onwards. And one of the writing we highlighted with our Foreign Secretary that India should take the lead and looking at the health, as Dr. Vishwanath Karad suggested, the pollution, health pollution, COVID pandemic is a health pollution. And India's role at the Security Council should use such the global leadership in the area of looking at health and peace. Anyway, today's seminar is an extremely informative, extremely contributing towards the issue of spirituality. Maybe listening to this conversation is an experience of spirituality. Let me add to this what Dr. our esteemed speakers mentioned. Spirituality is to experience it. And listening and enlightening conversation is a spiritual experience. That's why I summarize it. And thank you very much. And
thank you.
I wish all
thank you. Thank you, Professor Joe Thomas. I will quickly call Professor Dr. Ravi Chitnis to please come in and propose vote of thanks. Dr. Chitnis, please.
First of all, thank you to all. Dr. Karad sir, our beloved father and founder president of MIT World Peace University, MIT ADT University, Avantika University, and all the other campuses of MIT. Sir, we are grateful to you for multiple reasons at all the occasions. And some of the special points which you covered, sir, today in your session are addressed by Dr. Joe Thomas, such as water pollution and the rivers being converted into gutters. And you also said that Prime Minister Modi, India, we all should give a clarion call in United Nations and bring in strict regulations, and not only bring in strict regulations, but to strictly adhere to them. Thereby, we can achieve environment pollution reduction in the forthcoming years. But wonderful point which you always give us, and we call it that Dr. Karad sir is a person who not only gives the knowledge, but he gives the direction. And which I will add with permission of Dr. Joe Thomas, that sir, in addition to river pollution or water pollution, you also added one of the very rarest point in the environment, World Environment Day today, is pollution of mines. What is the use of having polluted mines in this world? Vasundhara or TER. TER policy means, TER means Mr. Pravin Patil in Indian language, Vasundhara means Prithvi. And since sir has worked in TER Policy Center as a chairman, he has concentrated on the environment of the earth. But what is about the pollution on the earth in the minds of people? And that issue is not yet identified by United Nations, and Dr. Karad is the first one. And thank you, sir, for guiding us on that line. And what is the use of this world achieving all the SDGs, Dr. Shende, sir, when people have pollution in their mind? So we are thank you on behalf of entire faculty and staff of MIT. We thank you for being there as a light which guides us. Further, Dr. Rajendra Shende, chairman of TER Policy Center, who worked in United Nations for more than 20 years, has rightly pointed out, one is air pollution and waste management. But more than that, sir, we are grateful to you and thankful to you for insisting that university is a center for not only innovation and research, but it is the center or organization to create awareness about SDGs, what they are, from Kothuru to Rui Rameshwar, and give education in such a way that people are aware about it and they feel it is their duty to achieve. Where you rightly pointed out that SDGs are not of United Nations, they are of people. And that's why they should come into university education. Sir, we are grateful to you for further points which you mentioned, that these particular SDGs are not for government to achieve. If people in the country feel that government is mine and I'm there because of government and these SDGs are my first and foremost objectives and goals of my life, then this will happen. We were not knowing till today that SDGs are not for United Nations. We always said in all the conferences that United Nations SDGs. So thank you for making us aware about that. And this is the 4th anniversary of United Nations SDG goals. And we will definitely see that MITWPU will insist in the syllabus more portion of SDG goals. Coming to Dr. Kanitkar sir, who mentioned about the various activities at MIT. Dr. Yogendra ji, you rightly pointed out about the CCN, Environment Protection Center, biogas, rainwater harvesting. And you also nicely linked it with the different SDG goals like goal 6, goal 12, goal 11, and goal 13. These are the 4 which you targeted. And all of you always tell that if you want real peace, then SDG goals to be completed and to be brought on university. I also thank my another colleague, Dr. Pravin Patil and his entire team, Nilesh Bhavsar, Rahul Yadav, for wonderful webinars starting on time and the technological support. And Pravinji always opening with variety of subjects in different webinars, more than 125 were completed. I also thank Dr. Mrudula Kulkarni for opening remarks and introduction. And above all, I always treat my colleague, Dr. Milind Pande, Pro Vice Chancellor of MIT World Peace University, who has a research inclination, innovation inclination, and his perspective is to bring science, technology, and spirituality together. A very, very pious soul on the campus. Sir, thank you for being with us from the start to end. And at the end, I also thank all the attendees, more than 110 at a point of time, for being with us on this World Environment Day. With this, I hand over mic to Dr. Pravin Patil. Thank you once. Thank you all. Dhanyavad.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. The number was not 110. 110 is on the WebEx platform. We have over 2,000 viewers seeing us on Facebook.
Wonderful.
We have viewers with us on Navbharat Times platform also, and on our own platform. So thank you very much, everybody. Stay tuned to see what's coming up next on our next series of webinar. We will meet you soon tomorrow. Our webinars typically start at 11 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the evening. Till then, thank you very much, all viewers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.